I went on a team trip with my friends at ZOHO Corporation to a place near Kodanaadu. And this is what they said it will be like. You can relax, you can enjoy, peaceful and all that. But they made me do this, they made me do this, they made me do this. And my voice is kind of broken and I'm all tired. I'm redoing a presentation I did a while ago, so forgive me for that. I'll start now. So I'm here to talk to you about a favorite topic of mine called startup thinking. It's not just for startups, it's not just for the entrepreneurs. I feel it is for all of us. Wherever we go, whatever we do, whoever we work with, it's a style of thinking, it's a mindset that's important. So I am here to talk to you about that. See, the rules of cricket haven't changed. It's more than 120 years since this book was written. And the rules haven't changed. You still have the cover drive, you still have the hook shot and so on. But how many of you remember this scene? This guy is showing a sixer. You might not recognize this scene yet. But do you recognize this guy? Anybody knows the name of this guy? Great White. And this bowler, Ben Stokes. He hit 4 sixers out of 4 balls and sent England out of the championship. He won the T20 championship. So my question to you is, do you think this guy didn't read the books of Laws of Cricket book? Not so. The point I am making is you need to learn the rules like a pro. You need to learn all of these rules. But you should break them like an artist. Picasso has said it. You need to learn the rules like a pro before you can break them like an artist. So many amazing startup entrepreneurs and CEOs have come here and they'll tell you, do this, do that. This is the rule. This is the thumb rule. Believe me, trust me. But the point is, learn them, understand them, absorb them. But remember, to make your own mark in this world, you need to be able to break that rule too. Right? That's how you become an entrepreneur. So from among you, I'm sure there are going to be people who may found companies. There may be people who may join together and join these founders who have founded companies. But I'm here to share with you some 18 small principles that all of you can benefit from. Because I feel everyone is an entrepreneur. Every one of you can be an entrepreneur. I feel everyone is an entrepreneur. Because all of us go through this cycle. The cycle is, you have ideas, you sell them, you execute them. You need to be persistent, like this Gajani, not the previous Gajani. You need to be persistent. Keep trying again and again. But there will be a time when you fail, like awkward perhaps. A time will come when you fail. And that's when you learn. People look at us and look at us juggling all those plates, but they don't see how many mistakes we have made, how many plates we have broken in the learning part. So we fail, we learn, and we move on. Hey, that's the life cycle of any entrepreneur. If we have done this life cycle, you are already an entrepreneur. Right? You have ideas, you move on, you learn, you fail, and then you execute. That's the whole idea. So it's the thought that matters. I'm from a company called ZOHO. I'll quickly skip through some slides. This is our office on GST Road. We've been around for 21 years. We have 41 different products, 5,000 employees, 30 million users in 122 countries. Our primary USP is we build products that work well with each other. That's the most important pitch that we have. We call ourselves the operating system for your business. But that's not how we started. We started with zero VC money. We reinvented our business 3 times. ZOHO isn't what it was 21 years ago. ZOHO isn't what it was 15 years ago. ZOHO isn't what it was 10 years ago. We have done not 1, not 2, but 3 pivots, and we have succeeded in the game. We didn't start with a documented business plan. That's the problem with most MBAs, right? You learn how to make business plans, but that's not how the real life works. You don't start with a plan. You plan as you swim in this world. So I'm going to give you 18 tips to take home. 6 whats, 6 whos, and 6 hows. The whats are, what do I start? What product idea? What's my startup? What's the reason I should start a startup? The whos are, who do I start it with? How do I get my team together? And the hows are, having got the idea, having got my team together, how do I make it work? What's the implementation strategy? What processes do I put in place? Let's start with the what now. The first and most important lesson I always share is start with scratching a personal itch. உனக்கு அறிக்கணும். இதுக்கு சொல்யூஷன் இல்லையே அப்படின்னு உங்களை personally affect பண்ணணும். Unless you start with that personal itch, you feel remote. So I was talking to my friend here, and he was telling me that the most important money winner in Puducherry is probably tourism. So what tourism related idea, what tourism related problem that has never been solved in all these decades can you come up with a solution for? So don't try to solve problems that don't exist in your closest circle, your family, your society, your city. Start there. Start by scratching a personal itch. Of course, start small but think big. When you start with that idea, start with not even Puducherry. Start with Rajnagar inside Puducherry. But always remember how this will grow when it becomes a pan-India idea, when it becomes a pan-continent idea. So always keep that in mind. Think big, think long-term, think infinite, while you make incremental steps every day towards your goal. Don't make this very big mistake many startups make. They think if you like drinking coffee, you can set up a coffee shop. There's a difference between liking drinking coffee and liking brewing coffee. In fact, there is a second problem to it. If you like brewing coffee, you can't set up a coffee shop. This man not only liked making music, he also seems to like working with producers, doing post-processing, managing dates on his calendar, singing live on stage, managing a huge fan following. Probably I would say 10% or probably 20% of his time is spent on his true passion of creating music. But there's 80% shit you'll have to go through. So remember, in the long game, you'll be lucky if you get 20% of your time to dedicate to that single passionate idea that you want to convert into a product, into a service, into a startup idea. Right? So remember that it's always 80-20. We heard about Achariya being the first in everything. So if you want to start a college, what do? We already have a first college. Probably think of a best. Probably think of a different. So when email started, the first web-based email was Hotmail. No other email that comes along can be the first email service on the web. So what did Yahoo Mail do? Yahoo Mail said, I will provide directory services. I will provide targeted advertisements. I will provide news, which Hotmail is not providing. I will hence add more and more features and make it the best email service in the world. 2004, April 1, Google wanted to bring its own email. What did it do? It couldn't be the first. It couldn't be the best immediately. So he said, let me try something different. You know what Google did? It was the first and probably only email service today to launch a service with infinite storage space. Just come. You don't need to delete. Trash can and tap panningana it will show a message. Why do you bother? You have infinite storage space. You don't need to delete anything. So that's the game of try to be the first. If you can't be the first, try to be the best. If you can't yet be the best, try to at least do something different. And when talking about selling your products, do what Steve Jobs did. Steve Jobs, even today, including today with the iPhone, he never goes and says, I have 40 different features and that phone has only 21 different features and so on. He says, the computer is like the bicycle for the brain. That's how he sold his first computer. He didn't sell it saying it has this much memory, it has that larger hard disk. Nobody wants features. They want, how will it improve my human potential? That's what they want to know. So focus on what dream you can sell to your customer, not what long laundry list of features your product has. Nobody has time to bother about that. Alright, now that you have a grip on what to start, right? There are 6 things we saw. What idea do I come up with and how do I do it? Let's move on to finding your perfect teammate, finding your perfect co-founder, finding your partner, right? Let's see. Very important rule, I learned it the hard way. I made the mistake of always getting people who were slightly less than me because they will respect me, and then I realized I was collecting a team of donkeys. Only when you hire higher than yourself, only when you hire people who can do things you can't do, who can do it faster than you, who can do it in ways you wouldn't even have thought of, that's when you get a proper team together. Because if you are a flying horse and you hire horses, the horses will hire donkeys. If you are a horse who hires flying horses, the flying horse will hire at least more horses. You get the logic? Give them the mall test. If you are on the wall about you have met somebody, a long interview process, they have passed the test, they have passed the technical test, but you are slightly concerned about, hey, will he suit our team? We are only 4 people. If this guy joins us or this girl joins us, will it work out? The chemistry work out? A very famous author by name Guy Kawasaki has talked about something called the mall test. He is ex-Apple, Apple employee number 5 or 6 days. So we can listen to his advice. He says, if you bump into them in a mall, if you are shopping at a mall and you are watching at something through a shopping window, and in the reflection you see that guy walking across, look inside. Do you immediately turn towards him and want to go across, shake hands and start a non-technical conversation, unofficial conversation? Or do you continue to move the other side, you want to escape and somehow get away from him? Because when you are starting small things, you can't put up with troublesome people. Right? You need to have that chemistry, you need to have that natural automatic interest to have informal conversations about stuff beyond your startup idea. Because those are the conversations that actually give birth to amazing ideas. So give them the mall test. But I told you about troublesome people. I'm going to tell you, look for troublemakers. There is this amazing movie called World War Z, in which it's in Israel and this man Brad Pitt asks that senior politician, how did Israel escape the zombie attack? And he says, we built a wall around our city. And Brad Pitt says, oh, build a wall in all cities to use Kurtan. And that man says, we have this concept called the 10th man in our management. The 10th man's role is only one role. His role is to watch for the answers from the other 9 people. If the other 9 people unanimously agree to something, it can be anything. If all 9 say yes, for example, his job, his mandate, his moral responsibility is to say no. If all 9 say no, his job is to say yes. எதிர் கேள்வி கேட்கிற ஆளை நாங்கள் வேணும்னே பை ரூல் அமர்த்திருக்கோம். ஏன்னா முட்டா பசங்க 9 பேருக்கு அதே மாதிரி பண்ணிட்டாங்கன்னா நானும் ஜெயிக்கிற கட்சிக்கு ஜெய போட்டலாம்னு சொன்னதுனால தான் இந்த உலகமே உருப்படாமல் போயிட்டு. So in this movie they target the 10th man. So, cultivate the habit of looking for these troublemakers, looking for these people who don't respect hierarchy, who will ask questions. Allah said, but I would like to know why you are asking me to do this. Why can't we do it like this? Why has it been done like this all the time? I don't care if you fire me, but I would like an answer. அந்த மாதிரி ஆளுங்களை attract பண்ணுங்க. It's an important tip I learned from this movie. Please, every startup founder is going to tell you the same thing again and again. So ignore paper qualifications. There is no recorded correlation between gold medals and top marks in college and amazing performance in a startup environment. Take it from me, I'm telling you that. I'm sure my friends will second that thought. And some projects take time. Don't be obsessed with results. When will it come out? When will it be ready? When will it be ready? You can't add 2 more people and get it faster. Right? So some projects actually take time, and be ready to have patience to work with your partners and give them the elbow room, give them the long time they might sometimes need to make your work happen. And when you have your team in place, get away from this silly habit most startup will have of wanting to do everything. You would have appointed somebody for everything. But simply because you feel you will do it best, simply because you can't trust somebody else to do it, the Hero Honda ad one, fill it, shut it, forget it. Trust them. They will make mistakes perhaps, but how will they learn? So don't, when you're recruited a writer, don't write stuff for them. Probably edit, probably make some small corrections, probably add the icing on the cake. Don't bake the cake for them. They will never learn. They will hate you secretly for it. They will be looking for a job elsewhere. Right? So induct them into your team. Trust them with small responsibilities and add the editing layer, not the writing layer. Alright, I'm into the third part of my talk. This part is about how you do your stuff. It could be a technology product, it could be a software tool, it could be a service, it could be a unique travel management system you have come up with, it could be a back integrated network, Uberization of something, it could be any of these. But how? What processes in the bottommost layer do you put in place so that a startup has to work differently from large companies like Google and IBM, right? It has much fewer people. It has probably 1 or 2 long-term plans, not 100 like Google. So how do you do agile work? How do you ensure you don't get lost in the forest of processes? Let's look at 6 answers for that. Ideas are easy. Implementation is hard. You're going to meet some amazing startup entrepreneurs who will tell you their story. Why do they tell you their story? Yes, of course they want to share, they want you to learn, they want to encourage more people to join the game. But if they were afraid that you would start a competing company in the same domain, would they be talking like this? They wouldn't. They will be secretly hiding their idea and working at it day and night. Ideas are easy. Anybody can come up with an Uber idea. But how many Ubers are there? It's the implementation. It's the long-term planning. It's the way you react to customer issues. That's what brings the difference. So if you have an idea, feel free to come on a stage and share it. Talk about, discuss about, and propose it to people and ask them to find holes in it. Ask them to kick it. Ask them to be cruel about it. Because when it's in the idea stage, it's worth changing shape. When it has taken shape as a product, it is much, much harder to make a U-turn. Focus on the long tail. All of you must have heard of Shark Tank. Yes, some of you have heard of Shark Tank. Shark Tank is a group of investors who sit in a series of chairs like this, and they invite people to come and pitch an idea. They say, say, I am looking for $20 million. I have this amazing product, this soap, which will last 10 times longer, which will give 2 times more soap suds, and so on. These people poke holes in it, and at the end of the pitch, they either say, sorry, bad idea, go back, or probably they say, I would like to invest in you. That deal, right? It's a very famous TV program in Silicon Valley. It's being tried out in India also, in some places. You know what's the best-selling Shark Tank idea ever? In all the 7 years of Shark Tank happening, in all the 300 or 400 pitches that have happened there, you know what's the single best-selling idea? The single product that has been invested upon and has made the maximum returns for these investors? You will not believe me if I tell you that, but that's a true story. Go look it up. How many of you wear spectacles here? Okay, thanks. Alright, keep your hands up, keep your hands up. Of these people who wear spectacles, how many of you sweat hard? Okay, actually the second question is the third question. How many of you do manual labor? Of the people who are holding their hands up, how many of you do manual labor, which means bending down, getting up, turning, shifting, tilting, bending down? Okay, some hands have gone down, yours have gone down. Of the hands that are still remaining, when you do that manual labor while wearing your spectacles, how many of you sweat badly? Particularly in your forehead. One hand. In this whole room of 500 people, one person is my customer. What's my product? My product is called Nerd Wax. Nerd Wax is a lipstick-like applicator which you keep in your pocket. If you are a sweaty type, if you are a male, if you do physical labor, if you have problem keeping your spectacles from slipping, you are supposed to take your spectacles off before you wear them. Apply that lipstick-like thing here as well. Sounds silly, sounds foolish. Yavanda vaanguvanga? Ethana perukku interest irukku? Go check it out. Go look up the success story of this product. This is what the long tail is. Very narrow, extremely narrow customer base. Fix all your problems, fix your customer support problems, fix your unique selling proposition, finish all the troublemaking things there. Then you start growing. Right? Go look it up. That's the long tail. And a very big mistake most of us make when having a startup is having a good group of friends who are customers. And you know what these friends will do? They will make you stay at a level where you're having a foolish product, silly product. This product is doomed to fail. But those 10 friends who trust you so much, who love you so much, who don't want you to turn back, keep paying you money. Keep subscribing to your service. And you think, I already have 10 customers. They are friends, not customers. They don't have the heart to tell you, right? So these 10 customers will stop you from making that important U-turn. If I have to come from Chennai to Puducherry, if I am on the Bangalore road, however far I have gone on the Bangalore road, I can't say, Puducherry pono, Bangalore, no. If my goal is Puducherry, it is never too late to make that very important U-turn. So don't have your friends base as your first customers. Very dangerous, poisonous, toxic. Sometimes in a group of friends who are working together on some project idea, you need to probably just go ahead, make some mistakes, try some ideas. அதுக்கப்புறம் CEO sorry கேட்டுக்கணும். CEO கிட்ட permission wait பண்ணிருந்தீங்கன்னா, the competitor will probably roll you over by bringing that idea and finishing it off. So many such corporate deaths have happened, which have been simply waiting at the CEO's table. So ensure hierarchy doesn't introduce problems in your team. Ensure people have the courage, the liberty and the freedom to make mistakes and then fail fast. அதுக்காக 2 வருஷமா இந்த மிஸ்டேக் பண்ணிட கூடாது. யார்கிட்டையும் சொல்லாம 4 நாள் ட்ரை பண்ணிட்டு 5வது நாள் CEO போய் we tried this, looks like it will work, but we need your approval, can you get it for me? That's how it should work. And when you have, I see 80-90 dials in front of me in this audio booth. The big mistake many of us will make is in our eagerness to see something good happen on screen or happen something to the audio system, we will keep switching all the dials. Something, let's try. But big mistake, because that becomes science and technology professors are getting us solluvaanga, that becomes an irreproducible result. கொஞ்சம் எழுதுது போ, எல்லாத்தையும் திருப்பி மாற்றி வச்சுட்டு இப்போ வா திருப்பி பண்ணி காட்டு அப்படின்னா he won't be able to. Because he wouldn't know it is 2x plus 3y plus 7z is equal to 14. x மாத்தினியா y மாத்தினியா z மாத்தினியா 14 பார்த்துட்டு you need to focus on one variable at a time. If you want to focus on flexible timing for your team, perhaps do it, but don't combine it with free midnight dinner. ஏன்னா flexible time கொடுத்ததுனால நல்லா வேலை பண்றாங்களா, free midnight dinner கொடுத்ததுனால நல்லா வேலை பண்றாங்களா தெரியாது. So have all these variables, but focus on only one thing at a time. And finally, our earlier speakers talked about making money, becoming a billionaire, becoming Google. I will actually want you to step back from that, right? Butterfly da panam, butterfly da happiness அப்படினா ஒரு பட்டர்ஃப்ளையை சேஸ் பண்ணிட்டு போய் பிடிச்ச மாதிரி சரித்திரமே கிடையாது. If you are in a park, try chasing a butterfly and catching it. Oh, some of you might be able to catch it, but it will die. It won't live again, right? It can't fly again. Kasagiri. How do you catch a butterfly? You catch a butterfly by chasing your own passion, your own dream, relaxing, meditatively. So in the park example சொல்லணும்னா அழகான ஒரு மரத்துக்கடியில உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்ச புத்தகத்தோட உங்க கூட இருக்கிற ஃப்ரெண்டோட அப்படியே சாந்தமா உட்கார்ந்துட்டு இருக்கும்போது automatically the butterfly will come and sit on your shoulder. That is the only way. If you chase money, you will never get it. But if you chase a solution to your problem, there is a very high probability so many of them have the same problem and money will come to you. Don't make money and fame your primary targets. That's very important. So we saw 6 whats, 6 whos and 6 hows. One last thing, when recruiting people, when giving your startup speeches, when deciding what you want to do in life, don't set that goal as if I do that I would have reached happiness. adana pannitenna adana arijitena adana sadhichitena manasu nimmadiyum sandosham enna vandadayum is a very wrong approach to have. I have been through life 26 years, 30 years, 40 years. I have seen people, and one lesson I have learned from all the books I have read, all the people I have met is happiness is the path. எந்த வழியில் நீங்கள் செல்கிறீர்களோ உங்கள் டீம் மெம்பர்ஸோட what route you take, the interesting people you meet, the amazing experiments you try, the little money you make, the failures you face, the experiences you have, that is happiness. So when forming your team, for example, don't say 4 years later we'll be $1 billion team, unicorn, just come join us. No, that's not the way you approach the game. Instead you say, we are going to try an artificially intelligent algorithm. We are going to try nanorobotics. We are going to have a setup in Sri Lanka. Experiences. The people, the experiences, the failures and successes that are along the way. That is what gives you true happiness. With that, I will close my talk. Thank you.